The violent winter storm hits, the local power grid goes down, and your house goes pitch black. But you are not worried because you spent $10,000 on a brand new automatic standby generator sitting right there in your backyard. You wait the promised 10 seconds for the machine to automatically kick on and restore your heat. But nothing happens. Your house stays freezing, the food in your refrigerator begins to spoil, and the expensive metal box in your yard remains completely silent. Or even worse, the engine turns on and you can hear it screaming, but your house is still dark. This is not a rare nightmare scenario. It is a known failure mode that is quietly sweeping across neighborhoods during major blackouts. Millions of homeowners are buying into the illusion of automated peace of mind, completely unaware that the big box, whole home generator industry has been fundamentally compromised by corporate value engineering. Manufacturers have quietly replaced rugged analog reliability with fragile computerized smart components that act as a single point of failure the moment a real crisis hits. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why master electricians are begging their friends and family to avoid the massive $10,000 automated standby systems. And more importantly, I am going to show you the exact analog, code-compliant setup they install in their own homes to gain total grid independence for a fraction of the cost. To understand the massive financial trap of the modern standby generator, you have to look at the business model of the corporations building them. Over the last decade, as the national power grid has shown extreme signs of fragility, the demand for residential backup power skyrocketed. People are terrified of losing their heat in the winter or their air conditioning in the summer. Big box generator manufacturers seized on this fear. They realized they could convince homeowners to finance systems ranging from $8,000 to $15,000 fully installed by selling them one magic word: automatic. They sell you the promise that you will never have to lift a finger. The grid goes down, the machine senses it, the smart computer switches the power, and life continues as normal. But in the engineering world, every time you add an automated computer to a high-voltage mechanical system, you introduce a fatal weak link. The most devastating single point of failure in these expensive systems is the automatic transfer switch. This is the computerized brain mounted near your electrical panel that tells the house to disconnect from the dead grid and accept power from the generator. The problem is that these smart transfer switchboards are incredibly sensitive. A growing number of owners report that during a severe storm, the exact same violent grid surge that knocks out the neighborhood power also travels right down their lines and fries the unprotected microprocessors inside the automatic transfer switch. This creates a deeply infuriating and dangerous situation. The grid is dead, the transfer switch computer is fried, but the generator engine outside is perfectly fine. You might even hear the engine fire up and start running, but because the automatic transfer switch is dead, it will not physically allow electricity to enter your house. Your home stays entirely dark while you listen to your $10,000 machine burn expensive propane in the yard. And because it is a proprietary, computerized system, you cannot just bypass it with a wrench. You are locked out of your own power, held hostage, waiting for an overwhelmed certified dealer to show up with a replacement circuit board in the middle of a regional disaster. But the computerized brain is not the only problem. The corporations building these machines have also value engineered the engine blocks. They sell these units as massive, robust powerhouses that can run your home for weeks. That is a dangerous illusion. The vast majority of residential standby generators are air-cooled engines. To cut costs and keep the physical footprint small, manufacturers equip these engines with surprisingly tiny oil sumps. Many of the most popular models hold only about 1.5 to 2.5 quarts of engine oil. When you lose power for multiple days, and that generator is running continuously under a heavy electrical load to keep your air conditioning and appliances running, it is going to consume oil. It is a mechanical fact. But because the system is marketed as fully automatic, nobody tells the homeowner that they actually need to babysit the machine. If you do not go out into the freezing rain or extreme heat, open the heavy metal cabinet, manually check the dipstick, and top off the oil every 12 to 24 hours. You're going to hit a wall. The engine will reach a critical low oil threshold. When that happens, the machine shuts itself down completely to protect the engine from destroying itself. It is a built-in protective measure, but the end result is exactly the same. Your fully automated $10,000 survival machine just left you in the dark because it requires constant manual babysitting that the salesman conveniently forgot to emphasize. Then there is the quiet killer that ruins the inside of your home. It is called dirty power. If you buy a cheaper conventional generator, whether it's a standby unit or a rolling unit from a hardware store, you are relying on an old-school alternator to create the electricity. These traditional units are notorious for producing high levels of total harmonic distortion. Decades ago, high total harmonic distortion did not really matter. Your house was just incandescent light bulbs, basic electric heaters, and simple motors. Today, your house is essentially a giant computer network. Your high-efficiency furnace is controlled by a delicate microprocessor board. Your modern refrigerator has a smart inverter drive. Your well pump, your television, your internet router, they all require perfectly clean, smooth electrical sine waves to function. When you pump cheap, dirty generator power with high total harmonic distortion into a modern house, the erratic voltage spikes act like poison to sensitive electronics. You might survive the 3-day power outage, but when the grid finally comes back online, you realize the dirty power just permanently bricked the control board on your furnace and fried your smart refrigerator. You are suddenly looking at $3,000 in appliance replacements because the generator manufacturer cut corners on power quality. So how do smart homeowners, off-grid mechanics, and master electricians actually protect their families from a grid collapse? They refuse the $10,000 automated trap entirely. They reject the fragile, smart chips. They reject the proprietary circuit boards. They choose analog independence, and they do it for a fraction of the cost. Here is the exact arbitrage loophole they use. First, they skip the big box standby generator entirely. Instead, they hire a licensed local electrician to install a code-compliant manual interlock kit directly on their existing home breaker panel. A manual interlock kit is a brilliantly simple, heavy-duty piece of machined metal. It costs around $50 to $150 in parts, plus a couple of hours of labor for the electrician to install it and pull the permit. This metal plate physically slides up and down on the face of your breaker box. It mechanically forces the main grid breaker to be turned off before the generator breaker can be turned on. It makes it physically impossible for the two power sources to mix. This setup is fully legal. It meets the National Electrical Code requirements. Most importantly, it completely prevents the dangerous and highly illegal practice of using a suicide cord to backfeed electricity into your dryer outlet, which can kill a lineman working on the street. Once the electrician installs the manual interlock and a waterproof power inlet box outside your house, you are ready for the second half of the loophole. You go out and purchase a heavy-duty, high-capacity portable inverter generator for around $2,000. The word inverter is the absolute key here. Unlike the cheap, loud, conventional generators that produce dangerous, dirty power, a true inverter generator produces an incredibly clean, stable sine wave. Inverter generators routinely operate at under 3% total harmonic distortion. This means the power coming out of it is often cleaner and safer than the electricity you normally buy from the utility company. It is perfectly safe for your furnace, your smart appliances, and your computers. By pairing a manual interlock kit with a portable inverter generator, you have completely eliminated the corporate single point of failure. There is no fragile, computerized automatic transfer switch to get fried by a grid surge. When the storm hits and the grid goes down, your house goes dark. You calmly grab a flashlight, walk out to your garage, and roll the inverter generator into the driveway. You plug one heavy-duty cord from the generator into the inlet box on your wall. You push a physical button or pull a manual recoil cord to start the engine. You walk back inside to your breaker panel, you slide the physical metal interlock plate with your own hand, and you flip the breaker. The lights come on, the furnace fires up, the refrigerator starts humming. You are in total, absolute control. If the generator ever breaks 5 years down the road, you do not have to wait 3 weeks for an authorized corporate repairman to show up and charge you $200 an hour. You load the portable unit into the back of your truck and take it to any local small engine mechanic in town, or you just buy a new one. You just secured clean, reliable backup power for your entire house. You avoided the proprietary smart chips designed to fail. You avoided the dirty power that ruins your appliances, and you just saved yourself about $8,000 in the process. True security does not come from financing an expensive, fragile computer system from a corporate salesman. True security comes from owning the actual mechanical mechanism, understanding how it works, and buying the exact tools the professionals use. Do not be the guy staring at a silent $10,000 metal box in the freezing cold. Check the description below for links to the exact code, compliant interlock kits, and the heavy-duty inverter generators that mechanics actually trust to keep their own lights on. Protect yourself, protect your money, and stop paying for fake quality. We will see you in the next breakdown.